And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome out to Walk-Ons on a Tuesday night. Quarterfinal edition of the Thomas Bachman Show.
We're ready. We better be, baby.
Look, I'm going to tell you what. If you're not ready, you're in trouble.
Yeah. The button will catch you. If you're not ready, the button will catch you.
And not ready. This Tuesday night edition is a little different than a Thursday. We still have a lot of work to do.
And look, I think Brett was somehow, it's when you're talking to somebody in an establishment and the music goes off and you're screaming at everybody. But good evening, welcome out here to Walk-Ons on a Tuesday night. This is the Thomas Bachman Show, brought to you by our friends at Sadler's Towing, and looking for the big truck, and I guess it's out working. We don't see the truck out.
Gotta make that money.
It's a good thing
tonight, right? No kidding.
Not for the people it's working for.
That's right.
Doug Gann alongside of Nick Magnano, and head coach Thomas Bachman joins us here. Before we get going, food, what did you have tonight?
Pasta Alfredo with blackened chicken.
There you go. I thought that when you text that to me, I thought that's what was on the menu for Friday night.
No,
that's what you wanted me to order for you because you were running late.
I was a little tardy
tonight. And 13 weeks now, you've had
the lemon butter chicken,
grown-up grilled cheese for me, and a burger from my man Brett over there. Brett pushing our buttons tonight, hanging in there. Coach, we're sitting here in the quarterfinal week. Before we get to our opponent this week, what a tremendous, tremendous ball game. You guys jumped out fast and furious against Evangel on Friday night and put that one away really early.
Yeah, I was really, really proud of the way that we grabbed control of it in the first half. Don't know that that's something that you can ever anticipate. You prep really, really hard. And we certainly did. When I tell you we had a great week to try to prepare the kids so that they could all play the game fast. And, the coach ultimately, even live watching it felt a certain way.
Right.
It felt like we were really locked in and keyed into the things and all three phases, because there was a lot to prepare for. So certainly proud and happy to move on to this week and excited about this next one. We got another challenge, and, it's the same approach.
Coach, we were talking about last week about all the people that you knew from there and everything, and we ended up really getting to see you firsthand. How many people came and talked to you, and that was really neat to see in person. How many former teammates, friends, family, and everybody, and I bet that was really good at the end to be able to.
Absolutely, love those people. Don't get to see them very much. My life is here in Alexandria and has been for a long time, so you don't get home, but you never lose touch. And whether it's a year or two, or sometimes 4 or 5 years, there's just certain people in life that when you see them, you pick right back up where you were. And that's the case with a lot of those. Those people, and certainly was great to give them a hug and say hello, and a lot of people I care deeply about, and certainly appreciate all that they've invested into me. Friendships and mentors, and just every which way you could probably describe a relationship. That's what it is for me with those places, with those people, and in that place, was very influential in shaping and molding the best parts of me. So
the post-game handshake, the camera was down, and we catch the post-game handshake, the embrace, the visit afterwards with you and Coach Denny lasted as well as expected, lasted a good amount of time on there. What was the emotion of that? What did you guys?
Well, I just, the older I get, I've said this in a couple of interviews last week, the older I get, the more I appreciate him.
Right.
The more I understand the things that I didn't understand as a immature teenager that thought he had all the answers, or an immature young adult that thought he had all the answers and was going through life. Just the older I get, the more I appreciate the people that I've had in my life, and the example that they've set for me, and the way that they've been there for me. And he's certainly, one of those ones that was as influential as anybody outside of my father.
Well, it was certainly good to see. We actually got to speak with your dad, too, a little bit about that. After the game, we were down there, and he had his towel, of course, and it was just typical Coach John Sr. And it was great to see the smile on his face. And just that's that I don't know where you can get that joy from anywhere else. Getting to watch his son for a team that he's so involved around too. And the one thing he was talking about was your brother's team that night too, who had a tough beat.
Yeah, very, very tough. Checked on him a few times. Just basically, are you okay? I know that feeling of a lot of people do. Us as football coaches, but there's people out there that own their business and pour everything they have into it. So a lot of people can relate to it, but. I say a lot of people, there's a group of people, regardless of the walk of life, that can relate when you just totally invest yourself in something and you don't cheat. And not everybody in every walk of life, they think they can relate, but they can't. Right. They hadn't totally invested themselves in it and given everything that they can possibly give. And, when you've done that, there's something freeing about it too. And he certainly is an all-in guy. And, to lose the way that they lost, to come up a little bit short. And you just don't get, you don't get these teams back. He felt like he had a really good team. And, there is no redo.
Yeah, that's the one thing about it. And when you talk
tough pill to swallow.
when you talk to a lot of the alumni from here too, they said, man, we wish we could always be just right here and be a part of this, because things do change, and you get kids that are out on the big stage and go in there and they remember their time here at Alexandria.
Yep, Jason Blackwell was in the office today. Seeing all the guys that had played for us through the years. A lot of them were at the game, and certainly appreciate all they have invested in the foundation that they laid. They're still a part of this as long as we're fortunate enough to be there. And even the ones before we got here, they're invested in this thing too. So everybody that
a lot of big banners hang on the outside of the stadium.
A lot of guys have given their all to Alexandria football, Alexandria Senior High, so they all play a part in it. But, for us, there's an emotional and there's a connection to the ones that helped us, get this thing back on track.
Indeed, they have. Tremendous crowd that is out here tonight. Brett, let's take a look at the crowd that has made their way out here tonight. Just another full house that is here.
That picture doesn't do it justice.
No, not in the case, because there's some that are inside. They're all over the place. But let's just let you know. And look, folks get out here and arrive at a little before 6 o'clock to make sure that they've got a seat, and it's great to see. Sometimes we surprise them and set up outside instead of inside, and we get a phone call.
I was confused.
He's like, aren't we doing the show tonight? He said, it's Tuesday. I was like, Coach, we're here.
I was looking around inside. I was confused. I said, please don't tell me I'm a moron and showed up on a night we're not doing it.
Absolutely not. Let's take a look back at Friday night. We're going to look at some of the highlights from there. We've got 7 or 8 of those highlights to look at too. Brett, put it this way, and let me tend to that just a minute while we're out, so I'll know what we're looking at. Coach, the first one on there, and you guys going back to the Neville game in Week 10.
We're actually sitting on the ball and running play clock and trying to make some first downs, and if you can go score while doing that, you're going to put another possession in between. There's just not enough possessions unless you fall apart. So that was really the plan in the second half of once we got that stop opening in the second half, like, hey, let's shorten this game. And the other night was more about trying to establish the line of scrimmage, and we thought we had the depth of roster, as far as the top couple of people. You could make an argument that there's some comparisons, top 5, top whatever, hey, they could go. But, when you get into the top 30 or top 40 as far as the depth of roster, we felt we had the advantage. So, let's use that to our advantage. Let's line up. Let's play with some tempo and let's run the football and try and make that, if it would have got into the game where it was a second half game, that begins to wear on you.
That's right.
And, so that was some of the approach. And, we were having success, so you never kind of got to some of the third down or, when you're trying to convert, there's other things that get to stay in the bag and that didn't have to pull out. So
JT again was JT. That dynamic duo of JT and Vaughn that provides such a 1-2 punch. I think they accounted for 5 or 6 touchdowns in the first half. Vaughn had a couple of them, and JT, we don't have the first one, but we've got a couple of these, and although they look the same, Coach, take us through this. Give us a look at
let me see which one you got here. So this is the 4th play of the second drive here.
They're just gonna, I don't think we put it. Yeah, we did. You're good to go.
Yeah, fourth play of the second drive. We open with a 12-play, 80-yard drive and score, and then they hit the big play, and we get the stop. They missed the field goal. The play before this was huge too, because I was fixing to be left with the decision. It was fixing to be 4th and 2, 4th and 1 on our own end, and fixing to have to make a decision whether or not going for it and leaning towards like we're fixing to go for this. And Vaughn drags them for the first down. I don't know if y'all remember that. He drags them for the first down, and then it's 1st and 10. It's like, all right, let's go. Just a simple outside zone that JT cuts back, and if you can get him to the 2nd and 3rd level, I mean, he does it again later in the game. I mean, he's so explosive that you're kicking extra points. You're not trying field goals. It's not a first down, it's a touchdown.
Well, and you saw what happened, the difference of these field goals. It's a little further in the game too, but J-Lu chases down, and they get the ball down on the 1 yard line, and they get pushed back, and end up missing the field goal.
Yeah, that was the series. We had just got that stop when JT popped that one to take a 2-score lead, kind of grab it. That was the 3rd down. J-Lu undercut a post, and guy stuck his foot, scramble drill. Guy made a great play, runs it down, gets it on the ground, and then we make the goal line stand, end up sacking them and making it a long field goal rather than a chip shot. But to hit that one right there was kind of like, okay, boys, let's go. And
then a lot of defenses at times we see, they hear so much hype about JT, and then here comes Vaughn, and you can't hide from Vaughn at all.
First play of the second quarter, this would have been the 3rd drive. Just a little X over toss, and we get a bunch of people out front. We actually bust there at the point of attack.
Were you running the ball with Pearl, or is he just out in front of every stinking running play there?
Yeah, he's pretty good. We get him really out. Good. We get him out running quite a bit. And I say he gets out. We enjoy when he's out there leading that stuff on some of those pin and pull concepts.
Well, he did that. Your defense was phenomenal. They hold one of the highest scoring teams in the state to just 6 points on there. 3 interceptions on the night. One of the most impressive was this one from Jackson Townsend, Coach.
Guys did a really good job. Some tails that they had picked up on, some stuff that they had heard out on the field to hear Coach Merce, and I'm not going to go into all the details of the things that the kids are picking up out on the field, but, there was some anticipation of that, and, to hear Coach Mercer tell the story of how the kids were describing, hey, this is, what was coming and how they were anticipating it was.
That's kind of hurt the feelings of the offense.
Was a thing of beauty, and of course, I was talking to Jackson today and Stretch more. You're not, just a smart player, and he's he's more athletic. He's an athlete. He's a football player, and he's very, very intelligent, and it was a huge play.
Indeed, it was.
Didn't know he was left-handed.
You talking about that spike? Don't get me going. Don't get me going.
No, I tried to cut that out of there before it got to that. Leave it to old Coach Nick to bring that up.
One of the coaches said, "Boy, Gronk would have been proud of that one."
But he full on spiked it.
But learning to compete with composure, not learning like. Exciting. Don't hurt the football team. Ended up not hurting us the other night.
Right.
But, there's going to come a point, before this season's over, including this coming Friday night, that, we need every yard and every advantage and all that. So huge play just in your celebration and the passion. It's I don't want the penalty. But, man, I love the passion.
Yeah. Looked like an instant replay. It wasn't because it was going the other way, but JT in the backfield does it again.
Yep, this is big. We got a holding call that, would debate with you there and back us up. We're in a long yardage situation. Makes the guy miss kind of at the point of attack, and then it's on at that point. He got to that second level and was able to split them, and it's over. There he is right there.
Yeah, look at it. 2 tremendous runs from JT Lindsey on way to 17 carries, 224, and 4. Pick out one individual on the defense, and I took a cop-out on the player of the game, but so be it, is Jaden Lewis.
Yep, big play here. Jumps it. I wanted him to get in the end zone.
Yeah,
I'm hoping that he scores and gets paid off for the big play that he made right there. But phenomenal play, led to a 1-play drive. Look, things are going well when you're scoring defensive touchdowns. And, you could argue that they scored 2.
Well, I'm glad you bring
one.
that up. Let's take a look back at the screen one more time. This wasn't a big, long one, but Cortez Simon takes this one and drives his way into the end zone. And
I've worked hard on some of that stuff of, just route recognition and, hey, what you need to anticipate and, just trying to they had worked hard on some of that stuff, recognizing some of the way that they were, what was coming when they took certain releases and how they did some of that stuff. And it was great to see Cortez jump that one and score after we had wasted a possession offensively.
Right. Well, you'd heard so much talk about that Evangel offense and about the young man at quarterback, and he's all as advertised. He's a really but when
nothing but respect for him.
100%, yep. And a sophomore, and he's going to grow into it. He's going to be one of the better ones. That class of 27, I guess, quarterback crop out of Louisiana,
it's pretty good.
Is going to be intense.
Certainly feel good about ours.
But when you take a look at things like this,
Elijah here, gets the inside. On 4th down, I think this is the one, and then we're able to go score and kind of, get the clock running, get out of there.
And that was the key, and that's what we were explaining to people. Look, we're going forward here at the end of it. You're simply getting that clock running is what you're doing. One of the things, we move on to the second half. Most all of the highlights were there in the first half, but this was a pretty important one as well.
Yeah, I had back-to-back sacks. Had that one there, and then, a play or two later has him another one on the scramble. I thought that they did a really, really good job of limiting, the scramble drill, the running around, and creating with, some discipline in the pass rush lanes and, where they were trying, how they were trying to funnel him, what they were, and that's easier said than done.
And that's one of the things Nick talked about.
But there was a lot of discipline. Coach OJ and his group did an incredible job. Very, very proud of him. Post-game, somebody was interviewing me, and I started talking about the defensive front, but it was all 3 levels. X played a huge role in that, some of the things we were asking him to do. Very proud of him.
Yeah, he's
of them, all of them.
He loves throwing up that X after it's over.
Got to be to our sideline. You never want them to take the passion away. You never want to.
And he does that. It's to the crowd and it's to the sideline.
I think that the officials do a really good job of letting them play with passion. It's where they'll get you is when it crosses the line, when it becomes, a taunt or you're doing it towards their sideline. And so, we got to continue to reiterate that with our kids is we want the passion. Like, we want you to have fun out there. I mean, you work your tail off to get to these Friday nights, and when you make a play, we want there to be energy. We want there to be passion. We want you to celebrate with each other. It can't cross the line where it hurts and I think our kids do a pretty good job of that.
You talked earlier about being able to contain the mobility of Pop Houston on there. Nick was one of his keys to the game at that time. You've got to keep that contained because that young man can scramble and move around and get those speedy receivers down, Nick.
Yeah, and just you're talking about the defensive front, and I agree with you on there. Just the fact that they're going to be chasing him. So if you have that depth, and I know you guys started with 3 up front, which we kind of thought that might have been the case, but to go 10 deep on your defensive line and just to be able to keep that containment.
I'm not sure how many we played. It wouldn't shock me if we played 10 of them. I know Coach OJ had them ready to roll and had them coached up. And, some guys that maybe, couldn't contribute or you're nervous about contributing when, can they anchor in against, some of the stuff we see in district and maybe some of the stuff, coming Friday night, the ability to just get off the edge and have some pass rush integrity and how you're doing it, it allowed us to use the depth of that position group.
Right.
Look, it's an exciting one. We're going to take a break. When we do, we'll come back with our 3 honorees, and then I tell you what, let's do those before the break, and let's get those coaches in here, and we'll talk to a couple of the coaches that we have in here because we are running through this pretty quickly. Our 2-minute offense is rolling in this one. Southern Air likes to look at our –
It is Tempo Tuesday, right?
It is Tempo Tuesday. That's right. Southern Air likes to award our cool play of the week, and we saw it a little bit earlier. Brett, why don't you roll that for us?
Let's see what we got.
It's Jackson jumping that, and that's probably one of Nick's favorite players that's out there. He loves the work that Jackson does.
Very, very intelligent. He's fun to coach and glad that we got him for 2.5, 2 1/4, whatever. We still got him for a lot of time. He's another one of those sophomores that is playing really well for us now and has an incredible future in front of him. But that was a huge play. He's made a bunch of big plays this year.
Indeed.
Need him to continue to make some big plays.
I get a lot of grief when I'll name 2 players or 2 plays as what of it. I don't think I took the easy way out, but our Security Sporting Goods player of the game was that entire ASH Trojan defense. Anytime a team can put that kind of an effort up, 1 through, you say 1 through 11, but it's way deeper than 1 through 11. It was 1 through about 20-something.
Yep.
And you didn't catch any flack on the text group.
No, I got none of it. That's exactly right.
Very deserving.
Yeah.
What a great picture that is in front of that scoreboard and with that defensive unit.
To play good defense, you got to play good team defense.
Look, the beauty of it is when you talk to Coach Merce about it, he's the exact same way that you are about it. He's naming off every other coach that's there, all of these contributors to that, because they take and do, and they don't have to. You guys don't have to go around and check on what's going on. Everybody's handling their job.
Makes it a lot of fun when you know that every room that you break up into, people are getting coached, the information's getting presented, it's being taught well. No, that's a good feeling. I mean, that's, and then you get you a group of kids that can do it. You give yourself an opportunity to compete at the highest levels.
Indeed, and they're doing it. Somebody that's competing at easily the highest level. It's his second or third time to win our Express Pros. You had one job, offensive defensive lineman of the week. It's none other than somebody we talked to about earlier, number 54, Caleb Pearl. And Coach, you just can't see a big offensive run without seeing him down in the end zone ahead of the play. He's pulling and blocking at every big play.
He's the man. He's the man.
Look, in this year,
competitor too, man. He's such a competitor, and that's probably my favorite quality about him is, it's one thing to have the ability. It's another thing to, just the competitive spirit that he has is the thing that takes him to the next level. As he is a competitor.
Well, congratulations. Caleb Pearl did another fine job, another one of those seniors that's doing great work on this team and looking for them to continue.
The only negative about him is he's a senior.
I understand that, and you can't redshirt
for
him
me.
or get another year and
he's
bring
probably
him
young enough.
But, see, and that's one of the things that I think gets overlooked. There's some young guys out there that are graduating seniors. That goes back as far as we remember graduating at 17. Some of them, Coach, in your time was graduating at 19.
That'd be the day.
Right. Boy, what a squad. That'd be, but look, they're playing their tails off as it is. Going to take a quick break. When we come back, I think we're going to talk to Coach Brandon.
Webb and Coach Wilk.
Yeah, and Coach Wilk. And first-year coaches that are here with you that have been very, very impactful.
Big impact.
We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk to those coaches. We're doing it all here. We're live on a Tuesday night. Quarterfinal edition of the Thomas Bachman Show, brought to you by Sadler's Towing. We are live here from Walk-Ons on 446 Sports.
Yeah, so what happened out there tonight?
We struck out at home with leftovers, then we remembered walk-ons.
What effect did the situation have?
Spirit soared. Nick took on a burger. Jen obliterated her ribeye po' boy. And speaking of spirits, Laura even scored a real tasty cocktail. She needed that.
Any lessons learned today?
Yeah. Head straight to walk-ons.
Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers, and cocktails. Walk-ons for the win.
Are home problems turning your life upside down? Trust Southern Air Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing to save the day. From keeping you comfortable to plumbing repairs and even generators, we do it all. Southern Air Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, your one-stop solution for AC, plumbing, and generators. If you need us to save the day for you, call Southern Air Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing or visit us online at southernairnow.com.
This month, as we gather with the ones we love, let's take a moment to give thanks for the blessings in our lives. When it comes to protecting what matters most, trust those who care about your family as much as you do.
I'm Jason Hawk, your local Farm Bureau insurance agent. I'm here to help you protect what you hold dear.
Whether auto, home, or life, have peace of mind knowing that your family is covered today, tomorrow, and for years to come. So talk to Hawk at 318-791-HAWK or online at talktohawk.com and let us help you protect what matters most.
just haven't met you yet. I might have to wait, I'll never give up. I guess it's half timing and the other half's luck. Wherever you are, whenever it's right, you'll come out of nowhere and into my life. And I know that we can be so amazing. And baby,
And we're back live at Walk-Ons on a Tuesday night, quarterfinal edition of the Thomas Bachman Show, and went through a lot of highlights and different things early on. And we're here visiting now with Coach Justin Webb and Coach Brandon Wilkerson. First year with the school, with ASH. How's it, Coach? We'll start with you. How's your experience been?
Oh, man, I love it. It's absolutely amazing being able to work with some of these amazing coaches, but also get out there with these student athletes and just be able to put in the work and just be alongside of them for the ride. It's a great opportunity, and I'm enjoying it.
Look, you've got some clay to work with that receiving core that you've got. You coach wide receivers, and you've got Alex Fontenot and Jimmy Duncan and Darius Washington, and you keep adding folks into it. That's got to be good when you've got that group set, but quarterbacks that can get the ball to it as well.
Yes, sir. That's absolutely amazing. Being able to work with those guys, and also with Coach Quay Mingo as well, with the wide receivers. So it's awesome just to have these guys, and you want to implement things, and they're all able to go out there and execute it flawlessly. So it just makes our job easier, when you have guys that can play and go out there and get it done.
Yep. Folks in this area are familiar, of course, with Coach Justin Webb, who joins us first year on the staff. Head coaching stint out at Northwood, out at Tioga for a little while, and Major over here. When we got news of you coming over here, I think the collective idea was, man, what an addition to this staff. How has your year been here, Coach?
Nothing short of amazing. I've enjoyed every bit of it. It's just, kind of, I guess in a sense, taking a step down and just being an assistant, but it's something that I've wanted, and just to kind of learn how to coach again, and just getting honestly, just not being in charge is kind of nice, because when you're in charge, you don't get to do all this. I mean, if we're just being honest, but so it's been a good experience.
Look, when we were out watching, I guess practice probably prior to maybe it was a jamboree is what it was, and the detail that you were going over on the kickoff returns.
Right.
And you told those guys, look, if you'll just block, and I'm not going to give it away, but they've seen the film. If you just block this certain way, don't try to go here. We're going to be just fine if you do this. And I was like, well, that's a very simple, strange technique. The first kickoff of the season to the house. I was like, well, okay, I'm good with that.
Well, it certainly helps the people that they have to kick to. That certainly helps. But, it's always been a philosophy of mine. Just keep it simple and let the players play. And that's something I've always prided myself on.
How do you get ready for the different things that you see? I mean, we saw, what was it, the Ruston game and the Never game, where they were kicking it short and they were kicking it to Hayden every single time on there. Now, he responded to it and wanted that challenge, but you see onside kicks, you see pooch kicks, deep kicks, squib kicks. How do you get them ready for that?
It's all about the film study, all about, and Coach Bachman kind of has his hand into it too, and he and I just kind of put our brains together and come up with a plan. But ultimately, you got to let your players play, and you entrust the people that you put out there, and that's, we got some great kids here that buy into that mold and buy into that philosophy, and it's really about them. Us coaches, we just try to put them in the right circumstances and right situations.
Look, what we've seen with all of the players, and especially that other group you work with in the tight ends too, and you've got some champs that are along that side as well. The football IQ of these guys, whether it's Jimmy and Darius blocking downfield or catching, knowing what they've got to do on that inside screen, whatever they're doing, the football IQ of these skill guys is so high.
No doubt. Working with tight ends, as a former play caller, you put that position on paper when you're drawing up the X's and O's, but, I didn't really realize until I got here, they have a lot to know. I mean, you're talking about passing game, run game, the fundamentals of being an inline tight end with their hand on the ground, the fundamentals of being off the ball and motioning and all that. I mean, second to probably the quarterback, I'd argue that those guys have to know as much about the offense as anybody.
Look, and we've seen that too. And you talk to the members of the offensive line. You talk about where they get down on the line, and that you're able to bring Grayson back there, that H-back, when you set Tanner down, or vice versa with the way that you do it. Man, they love run blocking as much as they do anything.
It was, when I got here, I was wondering how that was going to go, but the kids have bought into it. They're more fired up about the run blocking aspect of it than the pass catching. We actually have a few young tight ends. Coach, we'd rather come with you and learn how to run block, because we know if we drop a ball, Coach Bachman's going to be mad. But ultimately, you appreciate kids like that, and that's what's made this experience so great.
Look, is it something that head coaches, or is it on assistant coach? What is it? Because he can be on the other end where the offensive line is just banging around each other and see a drop pass on the other end 100 yards away, and he'll turn his head real quick and say, wait, we got to do – how does he see that stuff?
He got eyes everywhere. He got eyes everywhere.
A sixth sense almost.
And I wanted to jump back in on something that Coach Webb said that I thought was very profound when he mentioned the fundamentals. That's the big thing with football IQ. When you're teaching the fundamentals and then you're watching it on film, you study the film, and you focus on what you're doing wrong so you can improve, but then you also look at the things that you're doing right so you can capitalize on that low-hanging fruit. And that's a big thing with our guys, with our players, just teaching the basics, teaching the fundamentals, and letting players play.
Look, and they've done that. And you run into things, your receivers, tight end, there's no ego whatsoever out there at all. You see it was 3 solid quarters, the 2 in the Neville game and then the 1 starting this one. Not a pass was thrown in there. It was not one of those that you see this prolific scoring offense. What was it? It was 20 yards passing maybe in the game, and everybody was okay with that. Because they were out there getting the job done. How is it? Knowing that, look, everybody's just out doing a job.
Well, it's a team culture and a team atmosphere that I think that starts from the top down with Coach Bachman. Let's just go out there and get it done, however it looks. If defense has to step up and take over a game, if it's the passing game, the running game, special teams with our coaches that lead that as well. Whatever it takes, let's get it done. Right. No egos, let's just get it done. At the end of the day, we're trying to be 1-0 at the end of that week.
Look, that's exactly what we see. The tight ends, Coach, have been a dynamic part of this ASH Trojan team for a number of years, going all the way back to Shield Taylor and before all of that. I know those guys stay in touch with the program as well. We joked a lot about it on the air last week as Tanner caught, I think, 5 touchdown passes on the season that the Trojans never throw to the tight end. Next thing you know, here it is, because you've got somebody watching JT or Vaughn. You've got somebody spread out on these wide receivers. Tanner, great. They're gonna. I tried to get them to throw the ball to Grayson last week, but I don't think that's gonna happen. But they're gonna sneak out there, and so you've always got to be ready for that weapon.
No doubt. You can underestimate the value of a good tight end, and we certainly have our share of them because they forget to cover them, and then you got all these other weapons around you, and it certainly can complement your game plan if you can get the ball to them. And Tanner has done an outstanding job in both run blocking and the passing game, and some young up-and-comers, Gaines McKenzie and Bryce Letzinger and Brooks Bain, and all those young guys. Cooper Robinson, another one who's
how's Coop doing?
He's cleared. He's back out there.
Good.
Okay. He's got a hurt wrist, but the dude comes to work every day and works his tail off to give us the best look he can, and that's what it's ultimately about. You just got carefree kids that just want to go out there and play ball.
Look, and they're certainly doing that. We'll wrap up this segment up, but I want to ask you both this question as well. So your thoughts when you got the job here at Alexandria. Of course, I don't think anybody expected that you'd reel off 12 wins in a row with the schedule you got, except, well, I know a few that did. Yes, I certainly know a few that did. But what is the one thing maybe that you look back and said, you know what, this was a surprise for me. This is what I've learned from here.
I'll go first.
That was great.
I don't know. What I've learned is just, getting back to the basics of coaching and just being around kids that love the game and want to be out there. That's what's been so refreshing to me. It's often talked about, Alexander Senior High and the players they get, and we have some good players. We also have got some kids that are bought into football and that want to continually show up each and every day and get better. And that's hard to do this day and age in football, let alone any sport, but definitely in football. And I think that's one characteristic that separates us from everybody else.
Well, and on that, too, you get a lot of people that want to come out and be a part of it because they see the wins and they see all of that. And day one, you guys are just banging around on each other all the way up to day whatever the heck this day is. There's not a day off of hitting and pain and all that. And look, it separates those that want to play football and those that are football players.
No doubt. It's football is what it is. It doesn't apologize to anyone, and you have to buy into that mentality. And we at Alexandria Senior High, we have kids that completely buy into that.
Indeed. Coach, the same question to you. Coach Bachman told us a lot about it. So your day job is elsewhere. You wrap that up and then come over to practice, too. So tell us a little about that, too.
We were just laughing about that at our table. Coach Webb and I actually teach at an elementary school, and it's tough.
Okay.
Teaching 2 grading subjects, leap grading subjects, and coming over to football. But I love it. Like I wouldn't change it, for the world. Like I enjoy being out there with the guys. But I guess from my perspective, I'm absolutely new to coaching, so my experience is a lot different from Coach Webb. So everything is eye-opening to me, but I love it. The hours that we put in, watching the film, breaking the love it. Like it gets me going. It's what I needed in my life at this time. So I love it.
Look, do you ever confuse things? All right, and by saying that, do you ever get after those elementary kids like you would a football player, or do you ever tell the football players, no, you can't go to the bathroom, get over there, line up? Do you ever confuse the two?
I'll tell you what. It's about the same. It's about the. It's not much different in between the two.
Well, look, it's great to see you guys having a good time, and we certainly appreciate you taking time to come up and visit with us. I'll let you get back to your food right now, Coach Will, Coach Webb. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. You're welcome anytime here. Looking forward to another big 3 weeks of ASH Trojan football.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
There you go, guys. We will be back. This is the Thomas Bachman Show. When we come back, we'll get Coach Bachman up here. And I don't know, did Merce leave? I don't know if he. So we interviewed Coach Merce. We interviewed him at the end of the game, and the first comment that I got was from Mrs. Coach Merce of, "There's no sound." I was like, "Uh-oh, I got to make sure that's she. I got to make." Oh, did she? So we got to make sure that we get him some time. I know you got to go. We'll catch up with you. Look, there you go. Guys, we'll be back. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Thomas Bachman Show, brought to you by Sadler's Towing, right here on 446 Sports.
Looking for somewhere different for lunch? Le Bistro Coffee and Waffle Bar is a gourmet espresso bar and restaurant with an emphasis on Southern social experience, featuring a wide variety of salads, soups, sandwiches, and of course waffles. Le Bistro has something for everyone and every lifestyle. Whether you are meeting friends, spending time with family, or hosting a private party, we offer a dining experience all will enjoy. Le Bistro Coffee and Waffle Bar on Coliseum Boulevard.
Check out some of our recent work at the Panthers Stadium. In addition to custom signs and banners, we also handle custom trophies, custom awards, custom vehicle wraps, and more. Give us a call. We handle projects large and small.
Eye Associates, right now is the best time to have your cataracts removed. A new year means a new deductible, so if you're just not seeing as well as you used to, schedule your cataract evaluation today. It's fully covered by all medical insurances, including Medicare. You never need a referral at Wallace Eye Associates, and our method of next-generation cataract care is the most affordable in the state. There's only one team, one focus, your vision. Wallace Eye Associates.
And we are back to Walk-Ons on a Tuesday night edition of the Thomas Bachman Show. It is quarterfinal week. Great talk with Coach Wilk and Coach Webb out there, but now we've got a couple of the players with us out here. Don't have jersey tops on, so I'll introduce you to them. Darius Washington by my side, number 3 on the field. Grayson Thibodeau, number 84, that is out here. And guys, welcome.
Thank you.
Look, I was wondering, D-Dub, did y'all make Coach Bachman mad? He's not throwing the ball for 3 quarters in a row?
Nah, it was just something like they couldn't stop the running, so why? Like, don't fix anything that's not broken, so we just kept running.
Look, and you guys did a great job of it, without a doubt on there. Congratulations are in order, too. I see you're playing in the Gridiron All-American Bowl game.
Yes, sir.
That's a good bowl game. We've covered it, gosh, all 5 years that it's been there. So that week down in Baton Rouge, we'll be down there getting some footage. But that's a lot of exposure that is out there that you'll get, and I think you'll shine in that game as well. So, guys, tell me your thoughts on this year's senior year. Tell me a little bit your thoughts, D-Dub, on what you've seen this year.
Well, this year, it was kind of shocking knowing that how far we came from being freshmen. It really was just fast knowing that we were just freshmen like not too long ago, and that's just boosting up forward to becoming undefeated as a team, that we came still brothers, and that's just being able to go out and perform the way we have.
Look, and Grayson, you are a junior, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, junior. So you've still got another year. A lot of football left this year too, but you've really come on this year. We saw you play some last year too, but this year you've been a force on there. What's the difference between your sophomore year and this year?
Well, personnel groupings and playing both sides basically, they've just fit me into the both sides more. They fit me into playing defensive line. I played freshman year, but now they got me playing both sides. So, whenever Coach Bachman needs me in for heavy, that's when I'll play offense. But I'm primarily defense. So
look, we tried to we have up in the booth, and I don't know if you guys go back and listen to the games or whatever it is. We were picking which play we thought was going, and they picked a lot of different things. And I said, look, I need them to throw the ball to Grayson. That's what I'm doing. They don't have a package where they throw the ball to you.
No, they haven't installed one yet. I've been waiting on it. I had my chance last year, and I ended up dropping it.
Hey, they don't forget, do they?
No.
Look, 7 years ago, I wrote up a play for Coach Bachman, and it's not made it in yet. So just there's a lot more futility in it from on there. You guys have faced every challenge this year that you thought of. What do you think gets you ready for this deep playoff run that you guys are making on there? The tough non-district, the tough district slate, the first 2 play. What is it that you say, you know what, we're prepared for anything?
I would say the way our practice goes and the way we go at it at practice, knowing that we might get at it with each other on practice field, but knowing we all have each other backs on when it's time to get at somebody else.
Right, yeah, look, I see that. What about you, Grayson?
I think, we've just been prepared all season just based on the opponents that we've played. They've really prepared us because it's great competition, and that's what makes you better.
And it's showing it without a doubt. It is the preparation time. You both talked about that too. We've had you and Jimmy have been on here before, and you can see the way defensive your cornerback is lining up on you. Like, okay, well, I got him here, and it's film. The prep work you do watching the film. Tell me a little bit about that.
Really, it's not that much. It's just to know what personnel they're in, know what type of DB that's going to guard you, because it might not be the same. So you have to be watching out. You have to know who's going to be their backup too, because you never know what happens in the game.
Right.
And it's just the feel of the game. Once he's in front of you, I know what to do. I know what I have to do to get past him.
Do you ever look across and get that look from one of those DBs and say, "I got this little guy"?
A lot. That's every time I step up, it's like he just looking me up and down the first play of the game, and then as soon as the ball snapped, they like, what just happened?
He's looking at the back of your jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see that a lot on there too. Look, it's been a lot of fun this year. Of course it has, winning a lot of games and putting up some big numbers, but you guys have shown that you're able to do it running the football. You're able to do it throwing the ball. If they stack the box against JT and Vaughn, which what a great combination to have running the football. You've got you and you and Jimmy and Alex, and it's just a lot of folks that can step up and receive the football. There's so many weapons. How do you think, if you're a defense, you prepare for you guys on offense?
I would just say go out and try your best. I mean, it's nothing really you can try to do, because once JT's out the game, you think, okay, we have a little breather. But knowing that as soon as Vaughn get in, it's just okay, what we gonna try to do now? And it's the same like our backups are just deep. Like we have KJ. Say if I need a breather, KJ come in and just do the exact same thing I can do.
Right.
So that's all I say.
You know, you play, Grayson, primarily defense on there. You go with the ones on the defensive side of it, too. How is it battling that offense?
Oh, it's fun. You know, it's like competition. It's like your brothers. You just, like Coach always says, iron sharpens iron. So we're just making each other better at the end of the day, and it's fun, you know.
Look, both squads have it's so difficult for us picking our express pros guy because the offensive line, the defensive line, they've gelled so much this year. It makes the offense's job, the skill player's job easy because they don't have to worry about things, and it makes the back half of the defense look better because they know that the defensive line is there. How is the camaraderie and the chemistry so good between those two units?
Oh, just throughout the year, you know, you always playing against each other, so like you just really become closer to each other. Like, you know, you just know y'all are one team and y'all are ultimately after one goal together.
Right. D-Dub, your brother, one of the best to come out of this area on there too. I know you talk to him a lot about what's going on. Does he give you some pointers? What's that like?
I mean, with him, it's like one thing that he said that always inspired me was like, why you always looking for a good job? You should be doing what you're doing and not be looking for a good job. Just do what you do. And then every game, it's always something wrong I did, and he helps me get to that point to where I have one of those games with just like nothing you can see that I missed.
Right. Is he too critical?
Nah. I'm used to it by now.
Look,
it's just brotherly love.
Look, that's good, and that's what makes you so better. What's this week's a difficult week because the holiday that's in there. You guys will practice on Thanksgiving night, of course, but there are a lot of teams, I promise you, that would like the opportunity to be practicing this week and to be practicing on Thanksgiving. What is that tradition like of being able to practice? Because you guys have done it last couple of years of being able to practice on Thanksgiving night.
It's actually good because, you know, Coach always told us, he said, don't eat turkey before because you're just going to come out sluggish. Yeah, you're just going to come out sluggish. So we just come out. We're excited. You know, as soon as we walk in, we say Happy Thanksgiving to everyone because it's just one of those days. Everybody excited to just be playing the football on an important holiday.
What's one of your favorite, not necessarily from this time, a tradition in the Thibodeau house around Thanksgiving?
You know, usually my grandma, she makes some really good dressing. That's always been my favorite
the
since
dressing.
I've been little. I love dressing.
There you go. How about you?
I say the cake my auntie makes. She makes one of the best cakes. I always keep forgetting what it's called, but I always have to bring some home every time I go visit her.
Look, you can bring some Friday if you want to. Bring it up to the press box, or I'll come down and get it if it's that good. Guys, we look forward to making more memories on here with it. We certainly appreciate the work that you guys put in. You're great ambassadors for the school and for the city as well. And let's go out there Friday night, take care of business.
Yes, sir.
Darius Washington, Grayson Thibodeau joining us here. You'll see him 84-3 on Friday night. Guys, don't go anywhere. We're back with Coach Bachman to wrap things up. This is a Tuesday night quarterfinal edition of the Thomas Bachman Show live from Walk-Ons, brought to you by Sadler's Towing right here on 446 Sports.
Wherever you are, you're there for a reason. You shouldn't have to make a trip to the branch to deposit a check. Skip the trip and use our mobile app to easily and securely deposit checks right from your phone. Day or night, wherever you are, or whatever you're doing. Download our mobile app today.
Yeah, so what happened out there tonight?
We struck out at home with leftovers, then we remembered walk-ons.
What effect did the situation have?
Spirit soared. Nick took on a burger. Jen obliterated her ribeye po' boy. And speaking of spirits, Laura even scored a real tasty cocktail. She needed that.
Any lessons learned today?
Yeah. Head straight to walk-ons.
Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers, and cocktails. Walk-ons for the win.
Are home problems turning your life upside down? Trust Southern Air Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing to save the day. From keeping you comfortable to plumbing repairs and even generators. Your one-stop solution for AC, plumbing, and generators. If you need us to save the day.
This month is in our lives. When it comes to protecting what matters most, trust those who care about your family as much as you do.
I'm Jason Hawk, your local Farm Bureau insurance agent. I'm here to help you protect what you hold dear. Whether auto, home, or life, have peace of mind knowing that your family is covered today, tomorrow, and for years to come. So talk to Hawk at 318-791-HAWK or online at talktohawk.com and let us help you protect what matters most.
Yep, that's right.
I had that one right. We are back, and look, I just enjoy the off-camera banter. That's certainly a lot of fun out here. Big shout out to the walk-ons folks that have hosted us all season long.
Yep.
It's been a lot of fun. The Saddlers for all of the work that they do in helping bring this to you each and every Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever night that it might be. Coach, before we jump into looking at Bird, and we asked the kids, we asked D-Dub, and we asked Grayson as well. So growing up, and I know you're a football family, growing up, some Thanksgiving traditions or something that in the Bachman household when you were a little tiny Bachman.
Yeah, when I was young, like elementary, junior high, there was a bunch of us. We played the turkey bowl.
Right.
My grandfather was all-time quarterback, and my dad and my uncles, the four of them would play all of us grandkids, and they would
They didn't
kill
take
us.
it easy on you?
No, they did not. They would. I got in trouble many a Thanksgiving Day. I was a little too competitive.
Somehow that doesn't shock me in the slightest.
I did not enjoy the losing, and they would rub it in our face. And then as we started to get older, it started getting intense. I can still remember when it ended I think it was my dad's eye got split open or something because it got pretty. It's like, all right, they're probably too old for this.
Look, that's what this week is about, and you see out here tonight, families that are out here. It's just it's a lot of fun, and folks that are not going to be on the show, they're out here just because they want to be a part of it. It's special, and we asked Darius and Grayson too. How tough is it out here practicing on Thanksgiving? And we agreed that there are a lot of teams that wish they were practicing on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I mean, certainly.
Yeah.
I had felt like it's been a struggle. I mean, we've got such good routines and a just good flow to what we do when we're in school. I do miss some of that. The amount of prep time and the way we divide a week is, I think something that's been really, really good for us. So managing that part of things where it's all condensed into a morning of Thanksgiving, I've heard Coach Mercer and I talk about, all right, we got to make sure, we're making the most of how we're dividing up, some of this practice time and prep time from film time to meeting time. We've got a really good flow when we're in school, when first hour athletics, and we don't have that where we're bringing them and we're compartmentalizing, breaking things up this week. So that'll certainly make you a little anxious, but I'm glad to be practicing and something that, I thought we managed well last year. And through 2 days of practice, feel good about where we are. Just still a lot to accomplish as we, get further along in the week.
Right.
We were able to do that in my 4 years. My freshman year, we played through Thanksgiving. And, being a typical freshman, I'm like, oh, man, this is just going to be the way it is. And we never did. So it's great that you guys, get to do that back to back. What's the thing that diet-wise, nutrition-wise, do you have to talk to the guys? Do you kind of let them on Thursday kind of
don't eat turkey because you're tired
do their thing?
No, I've always been told that. I don't know if anybody's ever studied how factual that is. I'll tell them some things at the end of practice tomorrow of, guys, here's the things I've been told, and and then I'll defer to the guys on staff that actually know a lot more about all that stuff than I do, and make sure that they're hearing it from the people that have studied it, and enjoy the time with your family, but make sure you understand you got something important coming on Friday night, so take care of yourself. Same thing we tell them, each and every week, just as they're going about their daily lives and the weekly routines. Make good decisions.
Don't have dinner at 5:30.
No, we're going to practice.
I was
going to say we're going to practice at 7. So you better Well, I don't want to see what you had.
Coach Bird comes to town out of that District 1-5A. Once again, not a lot of time to visit about them, but this show has been more about just the tradition of everything that's going on. But very tough team out of Northwest Louisiana, same district that Evangel was in. So what do we see when we see the Yellow Jackets come in?
Well, I mean, different style of offense, obviously, than what we saw last week. But, there's similarities in the fact that they execute at a really high level, don't beat themselves. That's what you see really in all three phases. Got really kicker that can make it from, seems like second they cross midfield. They're in range for him, and he does a great job, with field position, kicking the ball in the end zone. And then they're aggressive when they're going to try and steal possessions with onside kicks. So give you a lot to prepare for in the kicking game. They cover kicks really well. That just means you're playing with a lot of effort. So a lot to account for in a lot of areas. But, big if you were to try and sum it up, a team that doesn't beat themselves, executes at a high level with good football players running around everywhere. So got our work cut out for us.
Coach, do they punt up there? I've watched film. I've watched film on Evangel, film on Bird, but I'm just kind of clowning on there. What is the thing? I mean, you go 5 wide last week on defense, and now you're playing against the Veer. I mean, has it something that? I mean, I don't want the technical terms, but the mentality of it, you still have to tackle, right?
You still have to tackle. Going to have to tackle in space. I mean, you got to play the game physically. You got to know where your eyes belong, and you got to play with discipline. And if you do those things, whether you're playing the spread or, option offense, there's a toughness that football demands that you have to be good at it. And so we need to, defensively, we've got to play with toughness and physicality, and got to play with discipline within that. You just can't be running around out of control, and you got to understand, what we're asking you to do, what the Coach Merce and the defensive staff are asking you to do, and do your job.
Yeah.
Look, we know there's been a week that's interrupted on this too. You practiced a couple of days today and yesterday too. Where are you at in the week as far as what your prep is for Bird?
Still a lot of prep, anxious at this point because,
right.
It's like, all right, we've got to, you only have so much time with them left, between now and kickoff. A lot of time between now and kickoff, but the amount of time that we have with the boys is limited. And so how you begin to compartmentalize and you begin to teach and you begin to get the feedback from them where you can see that they have the information. It's just not coming from us, and, are they answering the questions, or are they repeating things back to you, or are they, or do they feel comfortable with what it is that we've presented throughout the week, and ultimately we're not going to make any plays. They're going to make them all.
That's
so
right.
we've just got to get them prepared, and I have complete confidence that, by the time Friday night at 7 rolls around, the boys will have themselves, and the staff will have them ready to go compete at a high level, because it's going to take that.
Wouldn't you say, though, a team on the other side of the sideline, no matter who it is, has got to have a pretty difficult time themselves preparing for an ASH Trojan offense?
I would hope so, from personnel, from, different ways that we have the ability to attack you, hold you accountable, vertically, horizontally, and the level of player that's on the field, hopefully the execution of the guys up front. I mean, there's a lot of things, and I hope that's for our entire football team and in every phase. I hope that when people turn on the film, they see a team that's coached and plays hard. And when you coached and you play hard and then you add some really good players in the mix, you give yourself a chance to do it at a high level.
Well, indeed you do, Coach, and you guys have done that, sitting at 11-0 on the 11-0 on the season. Yeah, I lost a game in there, carried the one, or did something in there. Sitting at 11-0, a great season for the Trojans. A lot of work to go. There's goals ahead without a doubt, but this, of course, is the most important game of the week because it's this week.
Most important one, it's the next one.
That's right.
It is the only goal because it's the only thing that we have to play for. There is, narrow your focus like we've done all year and get ready for the one that's coming Friday.
And there's zero disrespect from any of the guys on the team, but each and every one of them will get caught up in it's not the opponent. It's who we see on film, and it's this week's game is all that it is. And that's a mindset that trickles down from each and every one of your coaches.
I hope so. You know, we're going to do everything we can to have them prepared, and it's been a really good group that certainly, you know, is hanging on every word, trying to get the information so that they can go perform well.
Yep.
Look, you're going to get into a game like this just like it is, you know, throughout the course of the year. There's going to be some in-game, you know, things that you got to tweak, but you got to have that strong foundation to begin to adjust off of.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you taking your time to visit with us. Nick, any final thoughts from you tonight?
No, just health-wise, everything.
Feel like we're as good as you can hope to be in week 12. I mean, obviously there's some guys that, you know, obviously are battling certain things, but in week 12, you know, we're healthier than we were in 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll tell you that much. So feel good about it.
That's scary for opponents there. Looking forward to a big one, and looking forward to where you're at Friday after putting in work on Wednesday and Thursday. We'll be out at practice Wednesday morning. We'll be out there Thursday evening as well, and take a look at things. Coach, as always, we appreciate you taking time with us and coming and hanging out. It's always a lot of fun to have you out here, Nick and Brett, the work that you do. All of the folks that made it out here tonight, we certainly send a big thank you to those, because we've been here at shows where we've talked to a couple of tables, and that's it.
No, we've got a great community, and you know, the best thing about, you know, some of the spotlight that's maybe been put on it, you know, over the course of this year is that people outside the, you know, Central Louisiana get to see how awesome this place is, and that's the best thing about it, is this is a great community, and it's time for a lot of people to take notice of it.
Look, quite selfishly, there have been a lot of new eyes on 446 Sports this year, so we're excited to be bringing that package to them. Guys, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining us. If you watched it live, thank you, and we'll sign off. If you went back and watched it, hope you enjoyed it. We certainly did. Big shout-out to the Saddlers for everything that they do for making this possible. Our friends here at Walk-Ons that do that, and all of the sponsors that you see rotating up in that top corner on there. From my man Nick Magnano and Brett Stallsby, head coach Thomas Bachman, I am Doug Gann. God bless you all, and good night.